everybody. Welcome to Tally the Votes, Australia Survivor Brain versus Brawn 2, episode 19 and 20. Okay, so we have made it to our 2 episodes a week portion of the game. And to cover both of them is two of the best buddies a Survivor fan could have. A warm welcome to David and Christy.
What's up?
So we are going to cover episode 19 and episode 20. First off the bat is episode 19. David, did you manage to scrap up the title of this episode?
I had it. I'll look it up. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, that'd be great because I had fully meant to, and the week being what it was, and the dodging of tornadoes, it didn't give me all the time I wanted. So, but let's go in while you look that up. So we start off with Zara.
The magic number.
The magic number. All right.
3.
I'm going to type that in. Zara's been left a little bit shocked from the crazy tribal that we left last week. Thanks to Karin and her I don't know, whatever mind she made up that day. Keelan and Miles are working damage control. And AJ is really liking watching Logan, trying to own the move. I wondered, would AJ be mad about this? No. No, AJ is really pleased that Logan is very vocally trying to claim that move to cut Karin
Because he
her.
realizes right there that he can set her up to be the next one to go if he wants to. Do you know what I mean? She's giving him ammunition.
Yep. She's
Episode
pouring the
19.
blood on her hands.
Episode 19, titled All Fours.
Okay. What a weird one, but we're gonna save it.
Okay.
Right.
How'd you find that? Because I'm gonna say my source then lied.
Was it on the wiki?
No, the wiki isn't updated. That's why I found it inside Survivor.
That's why I don't actually have it on here. Sometimes it takes a minute for them to get it.
Episode 19 was called The Magic Number.
The Magic
Well,
Number.
that makes more sense.
Okay.
What if the magic number is? What if the magic number is all fours?
All fours.
That's our title. Episode 19, Tally the Votes title is The Magic Number is All Fours.
Okay, good. I didn't know what you were going to say there, and it was kind of scary.
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that was easy.
Where were we talking about?
AJ being pleased with Logan.
AJ of it all. Okay.
AJ's always pleased. When is he not pleased?
I mean,
things go completely sideways. If AJ's still there, he's like, "That's awesome."
Do you know why? Because he is so quick on his brain is so quick. He can always find a way to use whatever happens.
Yeah, he can spin it.
So
I think that constantly staying positive is a good thing because he's not really engendering conflict with anybody but Logan the whole season.
But I think the positivity is coming from the fact that he's never ever really scared.
I bet he plays cards the same way, like he's pleasant to everybody, and you know what I'm saying.
Do they still?
Well, it's pretty clear that for all the shenanigans that he and Miles pull, they're still there, even when they don't have the upper hand necessarily. So it's got to mean that they're pretty likable, And if somebody who's mad all the time or cranky is obviously, not that fun to be around. He's got to be able to joke when things go wrong and grab a hold of these opportunities as they come in. Because some people, Karin, for example, would be totally ticked off that somebody was trying to take credit for their move.
Yeah.
Even if it was like a shared move, it would make some people mad.
Karin would be mad if they took credit for the move, even if it was their move, if they didn't tell her about it first.
If they didn't tell her about it
she
first.
gets salty. You're not
even
lying.
if she's not in alliance with them.
They couldn't even have to be on the same tribe. How dare you not tell me?
They don't even have to be on the same season.
Part of him allowing her to take the this is her move, take credit for it. Part of that, maybe that's paybacks for all those weeks where they didn't listen to her at all, even though she was talking and no one did what she said.
They're listening
Karin
now.
early on
He thought,
had some of the greatest
let her
takes,
have this
I thought.
one.
Don't you think? Early on, she had some of the greatest takes, and then when she started playing emotionally, she just lost it.
Yeah, And it happens. It happens with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay, so this this whole situation with Logan, like I said, it's making AJ happy. He's figured out how they can use it. AJ and Miles are both, they're happy to continue playing like maybe they're both turning on each other just a little bit. And I like how they have the conversation where it's like
Is
it's
this real? Is
almost
this
like
real?
base, like, yeah. So I was like, da 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 da. Oh, AJ, yeah. I was like, Miles, yeah, okay, cool. Like we're good. We're still good.
Nobody's on, yeah. But at the same time, they are being honest when they're doing, you know what I mean?
Yes,
They're
yes.
like so honest that they're both playing their game and they are both 100% cognizant that the other one's going to try and take them out at
Yeah,
some
it's
point.
it's funny because it's like, you have moments where you've got like AJ and Logan that have or AJ and Karn where it's like the niceties are very it's theatrics, like it's just like it's so easy to see through like that
It's
they're
just a mask.
faking
Yeah.
Well, the
nice.
niceties are not niceties; they're being polite.
Yes, but then
You know
you
what
get
I'm saying? It's like they're raised well, so they can't just be a jerk just to be a jerk.
Right.
But
and then you see this little this thing between he and Miles where it's like they're telling each other that yeah, making it look like this, but we're still good. But I think we're starting to see just they're honest with each other, but I kind of sense that there's just this little tiny layer of pretend that's starting to form because
Hmm.
they, like you said, they know
The end is near,
the end is near. They're gonna have to get ready to cut each other.
and they've both played these perfect shield for the other one, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
can you imagine an AJ Miles Kalen final three?
I would love it. I think that'd be
I mean,
so
here's one guy.
fun.
One guy has won all the immunities. Another guy found all the idols, and third guy, probably played the best strategic game. That would be a really
It
interesting
would be
final try.
very interesting.
Yeah, it's the it's literally the
Like,
outwit, outplay, outlast.
Yeah, it will never happen, but
Yeah.
I think
But
Caitlin's going to go as soon as they get a chance.
the
Somebody's going
three
to
of
take her
them
out.
really form like the triad, like a perfect triad of a Survivor alliance.
Right.
We don't get that perfect of an alliance very often where each person really does have that
is strong in
angle
their
of the game.
right. It's very strong in the angle
Well,
that they dominate. Yeah.
Yeah.
and another
So
thing
cool.
we haven't seen on Australian Survivor 4 is somebody who's so singly physically dominant in the game. In other words, usually there's 3 or 4 people who are physically competing in the challenges,
Mhm.
and I guess that's why he holds the record, or he's tied now with the record.
Yeah, he's tied now. But it also is.
Who do you tie? Do we know? Brooke.
Somebody from season 4.
Brooke.
I thought they
Brooke,
said
Brooke.
Brooke. Yes, Brooke.
Season 4. So I think he's gonna break it. I mean, I think he'll break the tie. Don't you think you feel like going in next week? He's
I
gonna be the
feel
new.
like the edit might be a little.
What does he have? 3 more opportunities if he doesn't get cut?
Even before tribal, he has 2 more opportunities for competing,
Well, and they don't.
and one
Of
more
course,
They're
for
talking about
immunity.
and of course, they don't do making fire, so he also has final try.
But they're
But-
not counting all his wins. They're counting his
Just his-
necklaces,
Mhm.
and he tied
Yep.
for necklaces.
Right.
But that's
Understood.
just it. So he has
to get
another. He has at
immunity
least
before
one
he
more
can-
opportunity before the next tribal. So
And
even
is
if
that a
he
U.S.
wins,
record too, Jamie? You know?
no, I think U.S. record is a little more than that. But I'll look it up. But I think it's a little bit. I think there's more than that in the U.S. record. I want to say it's 7.
David doesn't believe it because he's thinking
I don't know.
he's doing the math right. He's there's less days. They're total.
They're in the modern era. It isn't. There's no
Not
way.
in the modern era, but I mean overall,
No,
there's
first of all, the
you know,
modern era doesn't allow
40
people with muscles on.
there's 40
So-
Exactly.
seasons.
See, I was going to say it for you. See,
There's 40 seasons, so I'm sure at some point, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
that's 20 years of gaming, so that they've got under their belt there. So okay, so we've got Miles, we got AJ, we know what's going on at this point with them. Kristen is walking around flabbergasted, like the rest of us, by Karin's foolery, and she's gonna try her best to get back in line with AJ and kind of pull that AJ move back in. Though Kaylin and AJ are discussing it, like, yeah, we're not falling for it. The Barry alliance is squashed.
It's squashed.
Because it
Oh,
wasn't really
it got juiced. Yeah.
it wasn't all that to begin with, guys.
I
It's
thought it would
okay.
have been an interesting way for those four to bond to get out AJ and Miles, though, because
Yeah,
you know what
there's
I
a
mean.
lot
That would
of
be the only thing that I saw
opportunities.
kind of bubble up that, oh, this might be the way they do it, but no, the berries are not
But
going to do it.
it's what they had a lot they have a lot of opportunities throughout this entire
Yeah,
season for creating a steamroll alliance. They had enough people that would be willing to work, but it's like nobody could align this season. Like, you had the buddy. That's the best you could get, except for.
Oh no, I think Miles and Kaylin are a pretty decisive alliance at this point.
But
you think so?
but I think the final, like,
And Zara.
the three of AJ and Miles and Kaylin, yes, that is a cemented alliance finally after these 2 episodes. You can say
And I
this
think
is
they'll
a
keep
cemented
Zara
alliance.
because there's no reason not to.
Well,
Yeah,
and I think it's
they'll keep her, but what I'm saying is this season has not had where it's like 1 or 2 alliances that stuck throughout most of the game, or some version of it. It's bouncing. It's constant. Like, they're
it's
just
always
constantly
reshuffling,
shifting.
but AJ's usually in it.
And that's just it. He's probably been in more alliances than anybody else, easily.
So now I wish to answer my own question.
Okay.
In U.S. Survivor, the individual immunity wins in a season record is 5.
Oh, it is 5. Okay.
It is held by Ozzy.
Duh. Of course.
Colby.
Yep.
Tom Westman.
Okay.
Westman. Mike Holloway and Brad Culpepper.
Culpepper. All right.
So, and now
Keelan.
Brooke and Keelan.
All right. Come on, Keelan. You can break the number 5.
Yeah, why not?
You're there. Might as well do it while you're there. Put it off the Survivor bucket list, along with threatening to go to Rocks. We'll get to that. We'll get to that later. Okay.
Oh,
fun.
This is awesome.
Okay. So, Barry Alliance gone, like it was a thing. Then there's
but she totally
moment.
isn't feeling she totally thinks they believe her. She thinks she's done a good job at deflecting it off of her, because she's all
Kristen?
yeah, she could just go, oh, sorry, oops.
Yeah, she does.
She's played a little duplicitous game the whole time.
Yeah, she thinks she's got it. But here's a nice moment. We have a moment where Zara's like pretty irritated about how everything went.
This is the best moment of the episode.
And recognizing that she's at the bottom, and she's like, oh my God, great. Here I am, all of this. And Miles steps in and is like, awesome, because he's like, hey, I've been playing from the bottom the whole time. You are exactly where you want to be. Trust me. This is why. And he gives her the reasons,
right,
of why playing from the bottom is actually a really great thing. And by the end of it, he's not blowing smoke up her butt. Like, he's being honest. This is his true, honest point of view. And by the end of it, you can see that she even just like physically responds and relaxes to it.
Yeah.
And then like recenters her Zara face.
And that's probably the best way to play from the bottom, is to be relaxed. Yep. If you're all paranoid, they want you out because you get all cuckoo and crazy.
Zara's got kind of I don't want to say a stone face, because that sounds wrong. I mean, it's just she has a
she does not have any expression.
She has no expression,
face.
Right? She's not having any emotions at all.
Yeah, I am attentive. I am listening.
She is like,
you will not
she is
know
the
what
anti-Carolyn, is what she is.
The anti-Carolyn.
Opposite.
Yes.
We're
complete opposite.
Well, Carolyn, you don't know what she's feeling. You just know she's feeling everything.
All
you
at
can
once,
see all of it.
The time.
I loved Miles in this moment, though. I thought it was really. I thought he was genuine in what he was saying to her.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it's a real point of view, and it was great. Go ahead.
His opinion was that she was the one that worked better for his game anyway. He wanted to keep her and send Kaz, so he was happy about this.
Yeah,
And I think,
absolutely.
And he
and I
jumped
think,
right in to make her feel better. So
yeah,
good on him.
yeah, I think he's right too. I mean, in so many things, playing from the top is just plain more work.
Yes, it
Because,
is.
well, it makes yourself a huge target. Why? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, and you know what? It was
And you
really
get
great.
lazy.
Even though I don't think him having that conversation with her was in any way intentional gameplay. I just think that was a Miles point of view and conversation. It
Okay.
worked really well as gameplay because it gave her the confidence and the comfort to like start pushing the graduates back together.
To
It felt to
relax,
me like he was
think, and
really
listen.
he
Mhm.
really was just trying to help her
Yeah,
out. He
he's
saw
just
that she was stricken
being
by the
nice.
moment, and
But it worked out. It worked out in his favor because she was like, "Okay, now I'm comfortable here.
And
I'm
he's
comfortable
right.
with them."
He's right, because being on the bottom, if you think of anyone who's seen this week's Survivor of
Yeah.
US,
Yep.
can we do spoilers?
I haven't. I don't know who got
Not
kicked
really a
out, so don't tell me
spoiler.
that.
Not really a spoiler. But you see that there's one tribe that is complete, has never been to tribal council. And psychologically, they really suffer going to their first tribal council because they've been playing
Absolutely.
on the top. And they
Yep.
haven't really had to strategize yet.
And the ones
There
at the
so
bottom know how to move the
so
pieces because 'cause they've
there
done
is
it enough
something to be
times.
said about playing from the bottom for a long
Yep.
time. It keeps your mind sharp. You
And
know
it
what's going on.
Right.
forces you to question all of the information coming to you a little bit more. I don't think you get complacent. I mean, Miles sold the whole thing, and it was great, and she wants to work with everybody again, so good job, Miles.
And
Good
we're
job,
day
Miles.
38, are we not at this point?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So we are
Or by the vote out,
date
yes.
we're date US is long since home plus 12
So we
with
have
10 to go.
yes, and we have no idea how they're breaking down the end of this season. We don't know if it's going to be a 4-3 or 2. So and neither do they. These guys don't know either. So it's really good to make sure that you're like holding your hand out to everybody still. Because going forward,
Got to
you don't
keep your
know
options open just in
who your
case.
options are going to be. So we're going to jump into reward challenge, which is the IKEA sleepaway again. Um, they need
A
to
shameless product placement. I love it so very, very
always.
much.
So
Except I just want them to go IKEA. Maybe
I
they don't
want to
have that in
know
Australia.
why. Listen, I get okay. Like, just let me put this out there. I am not complaining about shepherd's pie as a food choice. It's a comfort food. It's a great choice, but it's IKEA. So where's the Swedish meatballs?
Yeah, I literally thought the same thing. At least give it as a side or something.
Just,
Yeah,
Put
I
a
mean, it's
little
just a
Swedish
thought.
meatball on the side.
It feels like it's not a, come on, guys.
That's
it's a fair
another
thing.
perfect product placement.
Exactly.
Missed opportunity by the IKEA.
It's kind of what I think. But
Not,
this
by
is
the
a
way,
competition we've seen a bunch of times. It's just that
don't tell
balancing.
anybody, but I'm not a fan of the Swedish meatballs at IKEA at all.
That's
They're
fine,
gross.
but they're known for it.
I know.
Exactly. That's their thing.
I'd rather go to Costco. I'm more of a Costco hot dog.
It's more of a Costco hot dog kind of
Costco hot
guy.
dog. Wow.
A sausage on a
What
bread.
else you gonna
Are
get
you
for
a serious?
That's a sausage sizzle for $2.
It's super good, but it always makes me sick to my stomach after I've eaten it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that
Well, it's like
processed
a half
food.
pound of meat.
No, it's the seasoning or something they use. It always makes me feel sick. My husband loves them. I'm a slice. I'm gonna get a slice, and he's gonna get the hot dog and
They have a
soda,
good
and we're
slice
good.
too. They've got a good
Cheapest
slice.
date you can ever go on, folks.
It's probably better than the Survivor pizza. The pizza that they always get out there is just nasty looking. So
Well, I
it's
mean,
very
It's
good.
been
it's
sitting in the
never gonna be.
sun
It's
for
like it's at
hours.
best. Think about what delivery pizza tastes to us now. Imagine when they have to deliver it out to them. You know,
so
it's not
far.
gonna be good pizza.
It's
But
so
I've
The
been
far.
John guy's got a parachute on.
the pizza's
There's
got
a
mold on it.
commercial
He's been
idea.
traveling so long.
There's product placement right there. 30 minutes or less.
There's so many things one could do.
Anyway.
This competition is never made for the tall people. First of all, the balancing, the little like A-frame balance thing on the water. Tall people, their center of gravity is just displaced for balancing on that.
And if you're a little awkward, even worse.
It's even worse. And it was a hot mess. It didn't last all that long out there. AJ goes, then Miles,
He
Keelan,
could barely
all out
even get
first.
up on it before he was falling.
And I was a little bit shocked because Kaylin's like does the waterboard thing. You know, is like a professional waterboard. Is that what we guess? It's not. I guess it's not the same. It's not the same type of balance.
No, waterboard. That's not a sport. You don't water.
No, you don't want to be waterboarded.
Waterboarded. No, you're right. Not the torturing. Not the torturing. The paddling.
I mean, I guess some people might be into that, but I'm just saying it wouldn't be my thing.
That's a real.
There probably is somebody.
I guarantee there's somebody out there who thinks that's hot.
Yeah, but you know what? It's not a sport. So.
And whoever you are a sick.
You're a weirdo.
Sick puppy.
Listen, I'm just gonna say this. It didn't work in his favor. Regardless, he was down for third one out. Yeah. Do you think he was like, and I don't need this?
Yeah. I think that's what he's been doing.
For the rewards, who cares?
Yeah.
I think even for the immunity, he doesn't care. He knows he's not at risk.
You're talking about AJ.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about.
She was talking about Keelan.
Oh, well, Keelan doesn't care about the rewards.
He does water sports for a living. I figured he could balance.
He's been winning way too much. You got to think he could have won this if he wanted to.
That's what I mean. I was like, he kind of.
I think Keelan doesn't have to remind them and be the threat to take away rewards from the people. That just makes people mad. You don't want to.
Well, yeah, you won 5 immunity. Well, is it 5 at this point? No, I don't think so. Right?
It will be.
Win the one, right? Will be. But you won a bunch of immunities, and now you're going to win the food too. Yeah.
And then you have to be the bad guy by selecting who you're going to take with you.
Well,
no, it's not great.
That's just it, because that sort of it can be a curse itself. So
yes.
So speaking of cursed itself, Kristen wins, and she decides that she's going to take Morgan and Logan to the sleepaway,
which was a horrible mistake.
Yeah, because the real winner here is Zara, because now she has the graduates basically to herself to hatch out a plan and reconnect and
look at her playing,
make a move.
Thinking hard.
And she even said, did she say something along that lines?
This is wonderful for me. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I wish I could wash my hair, but this is an experience I'll never get anywhere else.
Or something about a spa, but I can go. There's plenty in Bisbee I can go to when I'm back home.
I can drive my Lamborghini to the spa whenever I want to.
And give people the dead look like, I don't know.
No one will know what I'm
feeling. Is she the PTA president?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably like kind of like being the HOA president, right?
I wish I
kind of feel like it would be
for different things that I've led before. It would have been really helpful. I don't have that look.
Yeah, sure. It's intimidating too, because like you can't tell what's there.
She looks like she's judging you though. That's why it's intimidating. You're like, oh my God, she's totally judging.
It's like she hates me. She hates me. She hates me. And she doesn't even know me.
She thinks I'm stupid. She thinks I'm stupid.
Her husband, they get in an argument and she just looks at him. And he's like, fine, whatever you want.
And he loses instantly.
Again, maybe he likes it. Maybe he's the waterboarding guy.
Yep.
For the record, Christy said that. I did not say that.
It's all right. It's okay.
Be into it. You don't know.
Christy, you never know what she's going to say.
Like yeah, because she'll bust that out on you left and right. Okay. So now we've got the only they're putting a plan together, hatching a plan. The graduates are, but there's a little bit of a worry that's being shared by Keelan and Miles and Zara, and that worry is that AJ won't just play out a simple plan and that he's going to have to get flashy, which of course is exactly what happens. And it breaks down that Logan's the target. And then we get this like great AJ montage of him painting like all of the reasons, the painting of why Logan needs to go. And he's rattling off the lists to everyone. He's in their ear and he's like, and then she did this, and then she did this to Karen, and it's all there. It's a nice little montage. He goes through it with everyone in his alliance, and then he says, and then we could do it as a gift to the jury. Like selling it, putting a bow on it. A gift to the jury. And while all this is going on, while he's feeding everybody the reasons why they need to do this Logan move, the women at the IKEA sleepaway are having a hot shower, and Logan's hair is impressively filthy.
Oh, did she find something in it that she's like, this is from like day 8?
Yeah.
Well, like 2 weeks ago. That's mud from 2 weeks ago when they did a mud challenge. Yeah. It still hadn't worked its way out. Ugh.
I'm just thinking, like, do you not like put your? I suppose. I mean, there's bits of things in the ocean, so even if you
Yes,
try to wash it out in there, it's
it
like
does leave some residue, especially depending where you're at. If it's extremely sandy or
I have no,
yeah.
I have no opinion on what water
oh,
does
you
to
don't.
hair.
That's true. That's true. True fact.
And then they get
That's
to
the
eat
perk.
the shepherd's pie, and they're all deciding what they want to do. The
They start
consensus is
trying which pillow.
you trying their pillows. Got to pick a pillow,
But the way
and
Kristen threw herself on the bed each time with
I
each
love it.
pillow, I just kind of did kind of laugh. It's funny.
Well, I can't judge her. I mean, like, can you imagine sleeping on those bamboo like rods? And yeah, no, thanks. The bed would be heaven. But also, it would kind of like it'd be great to have a good night's sleep, obviously.
But
But
then it would
wouldn't it
just
kind of
remind.
suck so
But
much the next
would
day?
you get
Yeah.
would you get a good night's sleep though? Because the point is, it's like whenever you change your sleeping environment, at least for me, like if I stay in a
There's
hotel, the first night
there's an
sucks,
adjustment.
then I'm
Yeah.
fine, right?
Yeah.
So I would
That's
think
an
that first night
excellent
being
point.
back in the bed, you'd be like, oh, tossing and turning all night long.
I think
Yeah.
the best part about the entire experience would probably be just like not smelling somebody else's BO.
Oh my
Would
God.
be probably great. I love it when you get to merge or when there's been visitors, anything where they get the new smell, the smell of clean in their vicinity, and they just start huffing it. Like
Yeah.
smells
And
so
they do
good.
that when the girls come by. The way that Miles smells Morgan,
Yeah, it's like, oh
so
my god,
it was
it
almost
smells so
creepy and
good.
awkward. He got like,
But not
she's
in
just
that
trying
way.
to say hi.
Yeah, it's like
We got to be a little
everyone's,
careful when we're talking about Morgan and
everyone
creepy
smells
dudes.
so.
Oh,
Everybody smells
oops.
so good and clean, but they've decided that they kind of want to look at Zara. Zara looks like this. She might be the one that they need to take out. And they're pretty sure
What a dumb
Kate's going to
move, right?
slide in
Why do
with
they need
them.
to get rid of Zara?
I don't fully comprehend
Oh, I do.
why.
You don't see it?
No, I see why they need to get rid of Zara, but I don't know exactly what
But if they know, if
the
she's trying to
decision
build with
is.
those four, and you know you're going to be
You're
4 against
not
4.
going to break up the three dudes. So the only alternative is Zara.
Or you don't
You
need
get
the
Zara
three
to vote
dudes
with you,
vote.
and you vote one of that dudes out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah, but they're not. You just all voted for her. What are the odds of that happening?
Well, it
well,
depends.
we're glad you're here because we sent Kaz home, not you. I
Yeah,
mean, they didn't all vote for her.
that's the thing.
Yeah, they did. All three of those
Okay.
voted for her.
Now,
Oh,
let's look at it like this. Okay,
awkward.
we'll look at it like this. On one hand, Zara doesn't seem what we see. What we see is somebody who's locked in. At the same time, they're having this conversation. Zara's relocking in with the graduates. We see that.
Yeah.
But what they see is not necessarily the same thing we are seeing. And it
She always
stands
has the
to
same look on her
reason.
face.
It stands to reason there are reasons to take Zara out. But also, you're in a position right now where maybe you can convince Zara to take one of them out, and they don't even show
They don't
us an
even
attempt to try
consider
that.
it. Yeah, that was the weird thing, David. It
Well,
wasn't
the
that it
funny part
wouldn't
though
work.
is if you watch the previews for the episode, that's what they were previewing. So you got to wonder if that stuff's on the cutting room floor somewhere.
Right. Because I don't know. Like these do not seem like idiots. These are not idiotic
No.
people. And
Okay, so then maybe that's it. Maybe it's an editing thing, and they did talk about it. But
Because if you want, go back and watch the previews, you'll see they telegraphed
about
that they were
Kaylin.
going to try to bring Zara over, and then it never happened. It was kind of a
they didn't even
weird
talk
thing.
about it. That's weird. So then why they're leaving us, the viewers, with that question then of why didn't they? So
well, I mean, look, it's no secret that sometimes the editing is a little uneven, and sometimes they have a narrative they're trying to.
And
are they
sometimes
trying to make those girls look like
Yeah.
they're stupid? Is my question, because that's what it leaves you thinking.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
I
that
mean, I
they're
know
trying
there's
to
been-
find a way to balance what happens. I think they're trying to find a way to balance what happens at Tribal and give us that whole argument where they decide to switch over to Miles and all of that, that we will talk about at Tribal. But I think there's
Well,
some
and
sort of
Morgan has been very salty about the edit. on Instagram.
Because Morgan's had like 2 confessionals.
But it's just not that. She's like, there is so much that happened that nobody saw.
I believe it.
And I ended up looking bad as a result of it. Now, I don't know if she's alluding to the Ben thing or not, but
I don't think so. I mean,
I didn't get the impression she was.
She doesn't get a lot of screen time.
Nobody sees her as somebody who's playing the game. She's just like the extra that's there for Kate. And I know that that's not the way it's going, but that's what she's getting. And there's usually, it's.
But to be fair, she's not winning challenges.
Right.
And she's an Olympian, and she's not winning
she
challenges.
was winning challenges, I guarantee you she'd be getting more screen time.
I feel
she'd
like
be more pivotal in the game.
75%. She did, of course. It's the word. Some years it's agency. This year it's pivot.
It's pivot.
But 75% of her edit is like Morgan is afraid of heights. it's always goes back to that.
Morgan, I feel you. I'm totally with you.
But okay, so let's kind of
high jump then
swim through here to the end so we can get to the tribal.
Really
not.
Okay, so Zara and them they're hatching their plan. The IKEA crew is coming up with their let's cut Zara plan. Then we're gonna go to the immunity challenge. Okay, so it's a relay race, but what's great is that they're gonna use a body as a charging ram to break through that first wall of bamboo.
And these girls couldn't figure out how to keep their legs stiff.
That
was why they couldn't get through it. Every time their feet would hit the thing, they just like buckled. They immediately bent their knee. And it's like, no.
You gotta be tough. Now, I gotta say, there was a lot of things that happened in this whole relay race as far as like giving some people like a real advantage in the game, and that being like who got grouped together. They say it's random draw. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But like AJ having Logan and his team, the second I saw it, I was like, he's throwing it.
Yeah.
There's no way they're gonna let her get anywhere near an immunity.
He looked at Morgan and said, I'm not even doing anything. Or something.
Jamie, you bring up an interesting point. At this point in the game, should we be doing team challenges for that reason?
No, absolutely not.
We should not. It's
absolutely
terrible.
Not.
Look at Dave just dishing out the softball.
Because you can just tank somebody's game, like in this
instance. Which is exactly what happens to Logan in this whole thing.
You can see it. She's hip to what's going on.
And the worst part is, I really kind of came around to Logan the last couple of weeks because she recovered from acting horrible all the time.
Calmed herself down.
No, it's still there. She can still do it. Watch.
No. I know she can, but my point is that she realized it was hurting her. It stopped, which to me is smart, mature gameplay. Right?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
She realized what she was doing wrong. She adjusted,
that was her best
as you might say, she pivoted.
Yes.
She thinks her best move of the game was getting Karen out. Her best move of the game was being able to pivot from such a bad attitude.
Which is so funny because Karen was like, I'm going to use Logan. No, you're not.
You're not. And Laura, who thought she had set her off as a time bomb.
So, okay. So we're going through the bamboo, and then they have to go the over-under.
By the way, it's very hard not to make big bamboo jokes right now. I just want to point that out.
There's a lot of that's what she said. That's going to happen.
It was very hard to crack that wood with their feet. They couldn't get through it. It was very difficult.
And then let's see. So then they have that net thing. That just roll. I just wanted to yell, just roll. Just roll. What are you doing? Just roll.
Or even like scoot yourself. Like I don't know. Maybe it's
a little weird.
Maybe it's because it's too slack. You can't get anything to kind of push yourself off of, and since you don't have your arms and feet independently.
There's got to be. It's. I don't know. It's probably it's horrible. It looks painful.
Before this, Zara's laughing. Right? She's just laughing. She's having a great time. They're not manhandling
also,
her too much. She's just like, ugh.
At one point, they drop Kate, which was kind of funny.
Yes, Kaylin drops her.
Kate did not seem pleased.
Or no, Kaylin didn't drop her. That was when they were.
It was Miles. Didn't Miles?
But when they put her down, like hold on to her for a second until she gets her bearing.
Yeah.
They like put her down and immediately let go, and she
They just yeeted her. See you
Poor
later,
Kate.
And then they get to where they unlock a sandbag.
And what do you
and they
figure?
hit the
She's
targets.
98 pounds soaking wet.
I would say she's might even be less.
Tiny person, at least on TV.
Her and Zara both are itty bitty. Yeah.
And if TV adds, what do they say? TV adds 15 pounds. Then she's
Something.
like 80 pounds.
Yeah, they're tiny.
Unless you're in the southern hemisphere, then it deducts 15 pounds. That's how that works.
And then you turn the other direction.
It's like, and the toilet water goes the other way, right?
Exactly.
If you're in Australia, tell me, does the toilet water go the other way, or is
it works throughout all of the southern hemisphere? So yeah, anyone. It's from
anybody out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I liked the sandbag hitting the targets. I kind of thought that was cool where they had to slide the target off.
Interesting, cool. Right?
Yeah, that was something different. I don't remember seeing that before. So it wasn't like breaking a plate or whatever. I liked it. That was kind of cool.
I will say though, because it was like metal guide rails with a metal slide, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So okay. For people who have any like engineering experience or anything, I wonder how were they able to make sure that each one had the exact same resistance, friction, because you can't not lubricate them because they won't move at all.
It's another one.
Sorry. It's true.
That's what she said.
And so they had to use something. And it would have been really interesting to know
little WD.
How were they able to apply it in such a evenness throughout all the rods so that they would all be fair to.
How did they lubricate all of the wall, all of the rods?
Throwing bags at them.
All right, this podcast is just taking an explicit turn.
Well, that's what happens. That's what happens.
But you understand what I mean, right?
Yes.
Or maybe I totally distracted.
I don't think production cares that much.
Oh, no, Australia, they don't care.
I bet.
On US, they don't even try. They just use the same freaking things.
So they never come up with new ones.
Here's another question about him. Do you think the little ding noise that we got was an authentic noise, or was that sound edited?
No.
It was the Chuck E. Cheese ding.
Yeah.
It was like skee ball. It was great. I liked it. I thought it was really unimportant, but a fun touch to change that up. So, all right.
The whole challenge was fun, but literally it did nothing.
Yeah, it really didn't. It just
did nothing.
It just blocked Logan a little bit more,
Yeah.
So, Logan does not get to be on the team that wins immunity.
She does not.
No.
She had
and
to
then
wash her hair, so whatever.
You know what? You take the wins where you can.
Yeah.
So they're back at camp. Kristen starts to feel like Kaylin can't be trusted. This is where she has a couple little conversations about just a little thing with us.
It's weird. She can't decide.
Confesses that,
or does she think he's stupid? She doesn't. She seems to say lots of things about Kaylin.
She's not sure.
I don't like it.
Did you like
Kristen's
this
on my
move?
list
Because
now.
I really felt like trying to drive a wedge between Miles and AJ was the move.
Yeah.
Because both of those guys, if you could convince them they had the number on the other guy, I think they'd take it.
Yes, but here's the thing. People think those two are already on the outs. So they're not trying to drive a wedge in where they think there's already one there.
Think there's one growing. They think it's happening organically.
I think that's why.
There's got to be some sense of nerve involved where they are scared because again, as we will, whenever we get there, for heaven's sakes, we'll see. Miles is like self-confesses, like we're the psychopaths. So, like, you don't want the psychopaths to turn on you. You're going to be afraid if someone is like. They're not afraid. They are not afraid to do whatever. So is that going to make you afraid? Like that's an intimidating situation. So maybe that's something to it where like.
But you're getting to the point in the game with you can't be scared anymore because
you just got to get in there. You got to get in there and do it.
Sorry.
Oh, I just saw Christy's hashtag on her name, and now I'm all of a sudden I'm like I want Keelan to lose.
Oh, I don't.
I forgot that was her original winner's pick.
I don't want Keelan to lose. I might not want him to be first place, but I don't want him to lose.
But I wouldn't be upset if he was.
Well, everybody who is in first place loses.
I wouldn't be upset.
I have never, ever in my life picked someone at the beginning of any of these reality game shows and had them standing in the end. I know that I have a
No,
bad
you
picker,
did. No, you did. You did on the 100-day season of Big Brother.
but I think it was not my original pick.
It
was your second pick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right.
The idea that I haven't had to repick.
It's just that season was so long. It felt like you picked it 2 years before the season began.
Very true.
We were podcasting this season for like 4 months.
100 days, y'all. 100. Okay, we're gonna get off of that.
Then we got to see each other more often.
It was
okay. We're not doing 100-day conversations. We're not.
Anyway,
okay, so let's see. Yep. Okay, so Kristen started to mention Kaylin. Like, finally, somebody gets it a little bit at least. The IKEA team is all in to take out Zara, and they're going to use a Kate Morgan split as a decoy. But AJ knows. He knows that the girls are going to try to split the graduate votes, and so he calls their bluff, poker player AJ, and decides that, you know what? We can just go to Rocks. There's just one request though in all of this. There's one request that the graduates have, and that's AJ, just don't tell Kate. And AJ goes and tells Kate.
Not immediately though. He did wait a little bit, but not much.
And he basically alludes to her that Logan is coming for her, but Kate doesn't buy it because as much as she likes AJ, Kate's like, yeah. No, don't think so, AJ. So now we're going into tribal with these two different plans. And the original vote is a 4-4 tie between Logan and Zara. And then that goes to a revote for a 3-3 tie. And then Miles, as we said, basically dares the IKEA women that he and AJ are the psychopaths. They're gladly going to draw rocks. They've all agreed they'll draw rocks. And then they pitch why Logan should go. And there's definitely some pushback, especially from Kristen. And she tries. I'll give it to her. She does try a little bit. She has some reasonable things that she says. But in the end, it's Logan who really failed herself in all of this. Because Logan it doesn't matter. She knows she's going home.
Yes,
if you just lay down and die, you failed yourself. If you just say, you know what?
But we find out later that neither Morgan nor Kristen knew what going to Rocks.
They don't know what going to Rocks is, but that's what I'm saying.
They thought Logan was going to have to make fire against Zara, and they're like, "Well, she can win."
But Logan,
or like they had to draw rocks to see which one of them went home, like a tiebreaker, like flipping a coin.
David, it's not just Morgan and Kate; it's Kristen also. They don't know what it means to go to Rocks. And
then why maybe you should have done your due diligence before you went on the show. And honestly, that's nobody's fault but your own.
But here's the thing though. Logan does know what it means to go to Rocks. She did know. And instead of saying, I would never make you guys draw rocks, she should have said, draw rocks.
Yeah, we're willing to do rocks.
We're drawing. Yeah. We're doing it. If you can't convince these guys to save me, then your game's on the line.
Yep.
That's you. If you're at Rocks, here's the thing. In some ways, Rocks is a terrible idea because you're just leaving it to chance. But there are certain players when you go to Rocks, it puts you in the power seat. It gives you all the power.
Let me point this out to you. Is you have a professional gambler on one side. And he realizes that one of his players is wearing the necklace. Therefore, if they go to Rocks, there are 5 people who can go home. It is a 60-40 bet.
That is not
that it's the other size.
But that's not the poker player that figures that out. The financial analyst said that.
So he said it. You don't think AJ told him?
No, but I don't think AJ had to tell him. That's what I'm saying. There's more people in that
But my
fort
point is,
that
I get
understand
these
it.
what's
two guys
going
are playing
on.
chess,
Yep.
and the other two are
Yeah.
not even playing checkers.
No,
The
they're
other
And
three
they
are
don't
not.
even know what the rules are. What's
Right.
going to rocks? Like,
and
come
Logan
on.
Logan could have explained that. And they knew the threat that we're going to go to rocks existed back at camp. It wasn't news once they got to tribal. They knew that that was a probability going into tribal that it was going to go to rocks, and she didn't have the opportunity or take the time to explain. She could have so easily done something, and yes, it could have led to Morgan, Kate, or Kristen, or Miles, or AJ going home. But she was handed the control for just a minute, and she just let go of the wheel.
Just
And
okay, guys.
and it was I feel bad for her only because in post interviews she is like, what was I thinking?
Okay.
Like, I should have,
Honestly, I don't feel bad for her because I feel like she extended her game probably 3 to 4 episodes longer than it should have been.
Very true.
So
Yeah.
I feel like
Maybe,
she
yeah.
played. I feel like she played awfully for a while early on, and then she
Yep.
corrected and played really decent for a while. But the damage she had done early on, it was just too much.
Right.
I think that Logan really, really could have benefited from when you have a game where it's like mostly partners and not alliances. She would have benefited so much if she would have had a partner that could like bring to the table what she didn't have. And she did not
Compliment her.
get somebody to complement or balance her
No,
game
what she
out
got
at
was a
all.
yes person. They're not
Yep.
listening to my plan. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Logan.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I do feel that Logan had some savvy that it could have gone further,
She
but
had some guts.
I'll
Yeah,
go as far
I
as to
think.
say
And
this,
then
and I can't
lost
believe
it
I'm
at the
saying
end.
this because I was pretty critical of her. If we go back and listen to like the first,
oh, I'm aware. Yes.
Not a fan.
right, but I would actually, of the people that have been voted out to this point, I'd like to see her play again because I think she'd learn from what she
Learn
did
something
wrong.
from it.
Mm.
Because
And remember when
I
Jamie
I
told
like
you
that
she was
growth I
this?
saw at the end, and I got to give her a lot of credit because it's an exceptional individual who can realize they're screwing up, turn on a dime, and change the behavior
Yeah.
100%.
And
Not
Christy,
many people can
Christy,
do that.
what was that you were going to say, Christy?
I was gonna say, do you remember when Jamie said to you that she was this year's Shandy or Shani?
Yep, she's a Shawnee.
Shawnee, sorry.
I don't see it. Maybe.
She just was.
Shawnee's
Sorry,
more
she
of
just
a chameleon. Shawnee's more of a
yeah. But
I'm
look at
everyone's
Shawnee.
friend.
Look at
But
Shawnee's
that's
first
what
season.
Logan might be starting
You
to
forgot
figure it out.
Shawnee played what, 3 times, 4 times? Look at her
Yeah.
first season, and then watch her on her last season.
It could be a Logan. Anyway,
Okay,
There's a
look,
lot there.
look, all I'm saying is I was critical of her and I would want to see her play again. And she's the only one I would say
David,
that of the
so
people
far.
that have left so far.
David,
So far.
it really takes a special person and a big man to recognize when they were vastly incorrect in only creating one assessment of a person when your podcast people were saying, open your eyes a little wider. You're going to end up liking her.
She knew. Oh gosh, wow.
I just knew.
She served
Okay.
it up.
I did. But
So-
I have to admit, at the end, I was sad to see her go.
But then at the end, she totally dropped the ball and didn't explain rocks and use the power. And so she becomes a third jury member. 16th player out. Logan, you had it, girl, but you should have made them draw the rocks. But also, I'm glad you didn't because it would really tick me off for Miles or AJ went home on rocks. I would have been so mad.
They were way too excited about it.
Yes. All right, guys. So we're going to take a 5-second break so we can do a commercial, and then we will be right back. All right.
Now, before we move to 20, I had one final comment I'd like to add about
Hand it over.
is I have to say the bold will go to rocks move. Very, very King George-esque. No?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And the cherry on top of that is AJ going up to vote and saying extremely loudly as he's voting, I hope we go to Rocks so they can hear it.
Yeah, and he's like,
So-
I'm voting for exactly who I said I was going to vote
that's
for.
the next
that-
episode.
right, okay.
So he's using tactics there to intimidate the ones.
And there's no question, and they were absolutely. You could almost close your eyes and see George go, "We'll go to Rocks. I'm fine with that."
Yeah,
You
I'm
know?
just saying, AJ's really kind of
I'm the Macedonian Jesus. I will not. My rock will not come out.
The only risk is that it does take somebody who has. You have to have some faith in the odds, because going to Rocks takes all of the control out of your hand.
Well, if you're a gambler, that's the odds are everything.
Yes. So you got to
maybe
trust
you're a
the
little
odds.
bored because you're running the show and you need a little thrill.
Miles is like, man,
Honestly.
look at how good Zara's doing. I got to get back to the bottom. All right. So
Great
episode
episode.
20, title unknown. We're just going to say title unknown. Because if 19 wasn't there, you're not going to get 20, guys. So
20 is The Reaper is coming.
All right. David, what say you? Do you
I'll
you have
go
a
with it. I'll
different
go
one?
with it. Apparently, Inside Survivor's full of crap.
I'm trying to
Sometimes.
share it to you. It says it on there. Anyway.
Sometimes it's wrong. Okay.
Well, just so we know, to be fair to the audience, Inside Survivor says it's keep it simple, stupid.
It's keep it simple, stupid. That's absolutely what it is. That's got to be it. Because we do get that from Mr. Miles. That's what it is.
I'm really confused.
Kristen, I'm sorry. They're lying to you. David
It's
has
my
the factual
TV Time
information.
app where I track every single show I watch. That's
I would.
saying that.
You need a very well worded letter to the editor, because
Very sternly worded.
Yes.
Wait, well, I don't know. Maybe one of these weeks they'll match up. I don't know.
Sometime,
Anyway,
maybe.
sorry.
All right. So you know
Episode
what?
20.
We episode 20. So you got Miles. He's overjoyed. Let's say he's overjoyed with another successful tribal. So much so,
And it's like
that
that
he-
adrenaline rush they got from the Rocks thing.
So
I do
pumped.
feel like too. You know what I mean?
But-
It's like
but like he's so excited that he celebrates with a pole dance, and he even gives us a little peekaboo action.
oh yes, he does.
It's a little,
Homeboy is not shy.
it's a little pixelation
wait, what did you-
blur.
So a little the jungle rats berries. I don't know.
So peekaboo. The post-grads are honing in on Kristen, which we knew was going to happen. The post-grads, they've decided.
Love that name.
They are the post-grads. Let's give them zero information. We're going to go after Kristen, and like the only thing we need to do,
I love
say
that
nothing.
strategy. Tell them nothing.
Because
Yep.
why do you have to?
stonewall it, But guess what? As a theme, they're all again worried that AJ's going to get chatty. Kristen
Because he
still
needs something to do.
he's a busybody.
Yeah.
And Kristen's again bringing up Keelan's name. And this is not important, but something I noticed every single season, or almost every season, you see when they get to the mat and they go to challenges or tribal, that half of the cast will have new braids in their hair. Their hair will be done. And I always wonder, who's the braider? It turns out this season it's Kristen.
Yeah.
She's the one braiding hair. So we get this
is the last
little
of the braiding.
conversation between her and Zara, right? Like,
And that's genius to be the one braiding people's hair, because they can't go nowhere.
listen, here's
You've
the
got 'em
thing.
sitting there and you've
Even-
got their hair
Even out
your
in
hand.
the great big wide world of reality,
Everyone wants to talk to
there's certain professions, and it is your hairstylist, your bartender.
Yeah.
Your face painter is another one, where you kind of get the deets. Like, people just start talking about you. And the thing is the only ones that get paid for that specific thing is like therapists, right? But the rest of them, it just kind of comes out naturally. It's organic conversation. It's somebody that you can sit there, tell them what's going on in your life, and then move on. So being the person that's there for that comfort, if you're the person that can do hair, and you're giving them that comfort. Plus, like having your hair brushed is such a nice
Just any
feeling.
of that, anything you would have like beauty treatments, like all of
Yes,
those
and
people, your
it's
nails,
very
your
like
legs wax. I'm sure people are just talking because
there's also
what else can you do?
there's something very maternal about it. See, like you can tell
Mm.
Kristen has daughters.
Mm-hmm.
The way that she's going through Zara's hair. So it
Mm-hmm.
brings something to your game because it's an emotional attachment and a physical attachment to somebody who can make you feel comfortable and
But
relaxed.
seriously, how gross must it be touching their hair?
Their hair, I mean, now that
Ugh.
we've seen what was happening in Logan's hair.
So so the other girls.
In fairness, you're just as gross though, right? So it's kind of like
Sure, that's true.
you're in a mud pit with another person. They're gross, but so are you, right?
That's true.
Sure. But what I'm saying is Kristen and those guys went and got all cleaned up, remember?
True.
But Zara had not yet.
Yep. She was back to
hers
grody
had
level.
to be a little bit.
It's like, oh yeah, my tolerance to grossness
Can I get a spray
is down
bottle
again.
over here, please? Can we spray this? I need a spritz.
But I do like seeing that little moment. I like that conversation happening, mostly because it just it gave me this idea of like that is a tactic one could use, and I'm sure that it has been used as a tactic or as a way to bond.
It's
with
better
people.
than doing the cooking, honestly, because people can walk away when you're cooking.
Yeah,
They don't got to stand there and talk to you.
yeah, they're not sitting there being like, feels great. Yeah, so good job, Kristen. I mean, I wish it would have worked better for you in the long run, I suppose.
Maybe
But
a little too late.
a little too late. But she tries. She really attempts to get Zara on board with Keelan, and she brings up great points. She's not wrong. She is not wrong when she is mentioning.
But I did not
his
like her
name.
planting seeds. Do not do that, Kristen.
I know that it made your back tense the entire time. Like,
but
no,
it's very hard to convince somebody you voted for multiple times to come work with you.
Sure, it's an uphill battle. So, okay, we go right into our immunity challenge from there, and it is that ramp holding hang, and we go to Morgan being afraid to having to get in there and put into hold position. Now, this was interesting because speaking of waterboarding, this basically starts to happen.
It's a board, and there's
Which
some water.
didn't you think that was very Big Brother-esque? Like
yes.
they're hanging there, and all of a sudden they're like,
Yes.
"Yeah, now we'll turn on the water."
It was so much. It was so much like that.
If only someone had come out and started roasting them, it would have been perfect.
I am assuming that they were told that they have to wear their shoes because none of them were barefoot, and I feel like that would have been a good advantage against this wall.
Well, I thought too it mattered a lot what shoes you were wearing because some would grip more with mud and water than others.
If Kristen had only wore her Crocs,
she probably would have done better.
Because those things are like
they stick. They'll stick.
They don't move.
And then and it is great though. It's like AJ's first one out, but then the rain comes, then Miles falls out. But then when they decide they're gonna spray the water, JLP and his laugh was phenomenal.
Yes, he did have like a very sinister.
He definitely had the Mr. Burns thing happening.
Was it 19 or 20 when JLP had a good walkout line? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know.
One of them he did. One of the 2 episodes he had a really good.
I thought 19 was good. I don't remember 20.
I don't remember 20. Kate and it goes Kate, Zara, Morgan. But then there's Kaylin, and he doesn't move a single inch the entire time. He never shifts his feet. I don't see him shift his arms
he
around.
was like Zara. He was like stone faced. Like nothing affected him.
Yeah,
he had his eyes closed, and he was just.
And I imagine if you spend all your time in the water on your face, is it really bothering you?
You can probably
you just sit there and you just kind of relax. And
you're like, at least it's fresh water.
Yeah. They said it was very cold, but whatever. Maybe it'll like your shoulders are burned, and maybe it'll like cool it off.
Something, but it didn't bother him on the outside. He was able to hone it in, stay focused, stay put, and that's how he wins his number 5.
And at the very end, She's struggling and just about to
She's
fall.
trying.
And he actually brought one hand down and kind of stretched his arm out and was holding with just one arm. And he's
Yawn.
like doing and that was just like, okay, now you might be showing off a little bit now.
Well, I thought it was funny.
Okay.
Yeah, when she's struggling, he's like, "I'll go one-handed and
Yeah,
stretch my
one-handed.
elbow."
I'm just
He's
gonna,
good to
yeah,
go.
I'm just gonna.
Well,
Oh
he
yeah.
basically takes away all of her hopes of voting him out, and he gets that necklace. Now, the post-grads are going to talk some more about Kristen. And then when they're approached, they're not going to say anything, as they had said before. They're not going to talk strategy. And it
Right,
could be
AJ?
simple.
And did you love Kaylin just like telling him flat out, "I've been told not to talk to you, and I'm not going to."
Yeah,
Yes,
make them the bad guys. I'm just doing what they said.
I'm just,
Lies.
I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just a guy who doesn't have a brain. Wait till you hear my resume. So, you know what? Let's not talk to anybody. It's simple. But
But
guess what?
seriously, isn't that a good enough answer? I'm sorry. You're not in my
But has
alliance.
that
I
ever really
understand,
been
but
done? I can't recall. You gotta
I'm
figure
I'm certain
in
that it's been
48
done.
seasons
God.
of Survivor on US that it's
I'm
happened.
No, I'm certain that it's been done, but has it been highlighted as a strategy? Probably not. Like
There
the
was
Has,
just
has
don't
maybe
anyone
say
ever been
anything.
that overt about it? Like, you know what? No, I'm not talking to you. I'm not telling you a thing.
Yes, but they probably weren't as kind and nice about it as Caitlin. Like there's some players that I know will go, I'm not telling you anything.
Let's face it, the
You know,
Aussies are always a little nice about things.
they
they
definitely have their
are. Even
manners.
when they're
Yeah.
being mean, they're still nice.
It's
You know
not
what I
like
mean?
Say. She's like the
It's
meanest
not
person ever to
it's
play
not
No,
Survivor.
Canada,
you know
but
what? I could see Sandra going, I don't know. I'm not gonna talk about
Right,
it.
that's all she did. She just goes, nobody
yes.
tells me nothing. What do you want me to do?
Yep,
Yeah, she'd be like
exactly.
this, and then her confessional would be like,
Sandra could be
telling
in the
you
mafia.
anything.
She'd be like, "What? What? I
You're
don't
going
know. No
home.
one tells me anything. I
He doesn't
I
have
sit
any
here at the coffee
empathy for
shop."
the no empathy for the weak in that one. So, okay, so they're gonna keep it simple. But guess what? AJ doesn't do simple.
But do you
He,
think that he was intentionally trying to complicate it? Or do you
no,
think
he
that
wants to keep Kate and Morgan. No, the whole thing is a tactic because he does not want to cut off Kate and Morgan because AJ's
but he knows they're voting for Kristen, so why freak?
because I don't think he was freaking out. I do not think AJ was freaking out. I think this is a calculated risk again by AJ because he does not want to lose Kate and Morgan. And I really feel we're getting a clear picture that Kate and Morgan is AJ's endgame. I don't think he has any intention of going to final with Keelan and Miles. If he had it his way, it would be Kate and Morgan. I think that's why he spent so much
Here's the
time
funny thing
trying
is
to
that
buddy with
I
them.
don't I don't think he needs them to go to the end to win. You know what I mean? I think if he gets to the end, he wins.
Oh no, I think Keelan might beat him
I think
because
that he's
Keelan
got to
hasn't
run for
upset
his money. Mhm.
anybody and he's won a ton. He's got a good resume.
Okay.
You know what?
See, I think they would pick AJ.
Keelan has got the Carolyn Traders thing happening where everybody going into tribal is like, he's a dingbat.
He's
He
such
doesn't
a
know what's
good
going on.
guy.
Yeah, he's so nice. He's so likable, but I don't think he has any idea what's happening.
Yeah, like he's just
Yeah.
yeah.
And like with the last week, after recording, we went through, we were looking at Keelan's resume in reality, in real life, what it is that he does, all the different things he's accomplished. All he has to do is say, I have done this, and this. This is what I do for a living. Like, what is he, an engineer or something? It's gonna blow their minds. He
He's
does
working
have
on
a
his he's
winning.
a PhD student right
Yeah,
now
he has a
with
path
a degree with like
to
a
the
master's in engineering or something.
and then having all the being the physical threat that he is, yes,
Yeah.
he stands a pretty good place to really push back on AJ. And it's as much simpler. I mean, you can debate, okay, yeah, maybe I could, but AJ knows there's no way he isn't going to get picked over Kate Morgan.
I just figured with George and Ferris's wins, I figured the Australian sensibility is more that they would rather reward a
When did George
Miles or an
win?
AJ. Huh?
But yes, because they do love that gameplay. However, it's got to be who are you next to at the end. Because there's a long list of the athletic like people winning
Yeah.
too, if they make it to the end.
Especially when they're well liked.
But
Yes.
that's why it would be interesting to see if those 3 were that's why that would be
Well, yeah, that would
I
be
would
epic
love
final. That
just
would be
interesting to see, like, what do you
well.
really
Here's the
how do
thing:
you
when they
really
go from 3 to 2 and they do that endurance comp, ooh, Galen could absolutely win that.
Kaylin's going to win that. Like, against AJ and Miles, if it's them, yeah, he's gonna win. But when it's against Kate and Morgan, Kate could hang in there. Zara could hang in there. So
but
Zara and
not
Kate are
Morgan?
kind
Yeah,
of the
it's always those wiry girls like Brooke was that way.
they're tiny.
Yep.
They're tiny, and women
They're
are
all
made
like Mighty Mouse.
women's ways of like handling the threshold of pain is stretched out a little bit. Like we have the endurance to pain, maybe not the immediate sense of strength, but the endurance to pain. It's why these women, especially smaller women, just always kill it in
Have you
endurance
seen the shoes
challenges.
we wear? Come on.
Yeah, come on.
I
It's a
mean, not
thing.
Jamie and I personally, but just,
Other girls, the ones that are really girly, do you see what they can
the
do?
ones that are not clumsy and break their neck.
Ones that haven't had like 3 emergency room visits a year. Yes, those women wear remarkable heels. They're strong
Yeah.
as can be. So AJ wants to keep Kate and Morgan at his side. And while this is happening, Kristen kind of toys with the idea of pushing Zara to vote out AJ. She's like, She mentions AJ to Zara, and it doesn't really go very far. But I'm wondering, like, why did you show this? I feel like it might be a step into what's going to happen next week. I think she planted a seed with Zara, or it plants a seed with us.
Well, I mean,
Seeing Zara
it
go
also plants a seed into what happens in tribal when they start
a
the
little bit.
whispering.
I
Yeah.
mean, a little bit too, but
From a narrative standpoint, I
yeah.
could see why they put it in.
I think that I think this is the thought process that's going to flow in from the until Zara's out. AJ
Except
confronts.
the only scary thing about this that they weren't taking into consideration is that if they take out one of their 4, now they're tied again 3-3. And I
Yeah,
don't think you want to be in that position yet. You
especially
know what
when
I
they
mean?
still don't know how rocks work.
Yeah. Right. So like I think next week maybe they could pitch AJ to her and she might go with the girls
She
and they could get one more person.
Then she might be up for it.
Assuming anyway.
But AJ confronts Miles asking why he doesn't like his plan. And I do like this little moment because I don't think it's very often in a game like Survivor where the other person can go, "Hey, quick question. Why'd you poo-poo all over my plan?" And the other person
And
can
they just talk about it so
honestly.
Yeah.
It's
Miles is like, and Miles says, and when he goes, "What if she has an idol?" He goes, "He doesn't have an idol." Well, she doesn't have an idol.
Yes.
You know I have it.
Yeah, I love it. And Miles says the title, "Keep it simple, stupid." He's like, "You're gonna spook Zara," and he's right. He's so right. Like, you do the AJ thing, and it's gonna make Zara nervous, and we can't afford to lose her right now. We need her for this to work.
And he still freaking goes and talks to him.
Yeah, he gives it like 2 seconds of thought, and then he goes and tells Kate Morgan, "Oh, I don't I don't know personally if I trust Kristen." I'm like, okay, cool. So what's the plan? Like, what's the plan? And he's like, "I can't answer that, but you have all the information." And Morgan is
doing
ticked.
like wind talker signals to him, and they just are like,
Morgan's like, "Are you serious, AJ?"
It's super easy to figure out what he's saying, but they have
he absolutely was telling her without telling her.
Right,
And
but
she
they didn't
was
understand
so annoyed.
that.
She was so annoyed with them, and I loved it. I loved every second.
You're
It was
an idiot.
it was so uncomfortable.
But yeah, you're right. The way he was like, so
it was like an Arrested
Did you think
Development
for sure he was
scene,
just going to break and tell him?
I did.
They couldn't just catch it and be like, okay, okay.
And I love when Morgan's all like, "Fine, AJ, fine."
Neither one of them could math that out. Jeez.
You have all the information. That's all I'm gonna say. So Morgan's mad. She's super annoyed. And it was like the weirdest thing because it was such a dingy move too by AJ. Like, it's so unnecessary.
Because like he wanted them. So you're saying he wanted them to think that he was giving them information so he could still keep ins with them so they wouldn't freak out.
Yeah, like
Like,
he's
see, I just didn't want you guys to worry. I knew
I
you
didn't
guys were
want them to
safe the
come
whole
after
time.
me, but I
But they
didn't
wouldn't
want you
let me
guys.
tell
Yeah.
you, but I just wanted you guys to be relaxed and not worry.
Yeah.
What a good guy. What a
What
good
a
guy.
great guy that AJ. And
Yeah.
he's going to try to attempt a split plan to Zara, and she is annoyed and she's trying to shut that down. She's no, AJ, none of this. None of this
Well, she's
craziness.
like this. She's like the way she looks at people with her head tipped back, looking right
Yeah,
at them.
she's
Mhm.
she's so like,
Wait,
everybody
you
gets
will
so
make the
annoyed.
cupcakes for the bake sale.
Yes. We need
How many
500
times? How many times have I told you
by
you do the
Tuesday.
cupcakes?
And I do not want store-bought cupcakes.
It will be this recipe.
Made from scratch.
We also need 6 dozen gluten-free, please. Thank you. Yeah, she could do it. I have no doubt that she could run that show. So we
Ooh,
go to
what if someone
tribal.
tried? Imagine how she'd freak out if someone tried to bring anything with peanut butter.
Oh, not on her watch. I do not think so.
Well, in the 70s, did all the people with peanut butter allergies just die?
Yes.
Because
Yes,
seriously,
it's literally what
I
happened.
ate peanut butter and jelly for like 6 years straight, maybe
Yes,
7.
and then they had anaphylaxis and they died. Yep.
Okay,
That's what happened.
Like at a year old or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, like at 5 or something, but I don't recall like kids
I
having grabbers.
I have a good friend whose uncle died in high school because it happened. So
You know what I guess is worse than peanut butter is mustard. Like if you're allergic to mustard and it like aerates,
Well, I am
like
not
like
allergic.
in the squeeze bottle, I guess it's bad.
Fun fact, I love a mustard. Cannot stand ketchup. Mustard is the best because I'm an adult. Thank you very much.
Well, people who put mustard or ketchup on a hot dog are in fact animals.
I know one of those animals. I think we actually both know that
I'm
animal.
from Chicago.
So. Mustard on everything. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you to the mustards. We do love Mean Mr. Mustard and all of his goods. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, let's go to tribal. We're going to jump from mustard and we're going to tribal. So Kate, I love this because Kate says that she's looking for cracks and there are cracks to be found. It's like, yes, all of your swimsuits, show them, Kate. There's a lot of cracks to be found.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny right there.
She's like, it's time for big moves. Okay, sure. Let's do it. Let's do it, Kate. What big move do you got? The IKEA girls are really selling that pitch to Zara. They're pushing it like, we got to come on, join us. Join us. Morgan butts heads with Miles a little bit, and the IKEA girls decide that they are going to maybe switch their votes from AJ to Miles, which when they tell Zara, she said, "Oh, that's better for me. That's better for me." I love that. Zara, you cunning person, you.
I'm not doing it, but go ahead.
Lying.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, that's better
Miles
for me.
Is the one she's working with the most, and they don't freaking figure it out.
I love it. I just loved it. Yeah. Okay, let's.
But I love that she used the chance to do that misdirection, right? She used the opportunity to throw them off the Miles.
And now they're locked in, and she knows where they're locked in.
It's so great because the sell on this was, it's better for you. This way you don't have to lose AJ.
She's like, I don't want AJ. Like,
oh, yeah, that's actually really good.
He's not my boyfriend.
And then guess what? Zara votes for Kristen anyway. And Kristen goes to jury on a 4-3 split. And Miles saves his idol for another day. I thought that
I was pretty nervous about Miles, I'm going to say, for a minute there.
Yeah, I was like, he's going to play that idol. He's going to have to play that idol. They're going to have to play the idol.
Amazing moments of television right there. My husband was like, why? What? And I was like, oh my God, this is so good. Oh my God, he didn't play it. Oh my God. And my husband's like, what is going on? I had to explain it to him.
It made me nervous. I was like, oh no, we're going to listen. Like, not Miles going home with an idol in his pocket, but
nope. He's played them perfectly. And that idol is AJ's, by the way. He's already claimed it. He said Miles will play it for him anytime he wants. He'll just, whatever.
You bet.
Miles is not playing that idol for AJ.
But
I think that Miles might be playing that idol to burn AJ.
Maybe. Yeah. I want to say that for Kristen, I felt good not horrible about her going home anyway, but right before they voted, and she's whispering to them, and they're like, "Do you think so?" And what did she say at the end? She's like, "I feel happy about this." So
Yeah.
she had gotten to a place where she had done her best to make her case and do all the things, and whatever was going to happen
Because
was
she
going to
said,
happen.
and,
So
and she said at the end, at the end, her final words were like, she didn't say she's a people pleaser, but she is a people pleaser, and she kind of confesses like, I just think kindness is most important, and I tried to be the bad guy, and here I am. So
and she lasted a long time. So good
she
for
did.
her.
She did. But in a game like Survivor, if you're nice to everybody, someone's going to notice.
That is the problem with her. Because like uh, you know, Polly was so angry with her because she was had planted some seeds and other people not to trust Polly. And it's like, but was she really planting seeds, or was she just saying to people like, I can vote out Polly, like trying to doing like how AJ and Miles and pretended they're not together.
Well, the
You know
thing
what I
is
mean?
with
That's not
one
a
of
horrible thing when you're in the minority.
the thing is with Kristen is that she does tend to, she would be like, okay, yeah, 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 and then she'd immediately go and say, hey, this is what this person is doing. This is what this person is doing. I mean, she
Yeah.
didn't do it as
Well,
intensely as like Allie did. Like Allie was the monster of doing that.
yeah.
But at some point, it happens enough, and people go, okay, I know I can't trust her.
Yeah.
She's not
And
a threat, but I can't trust
she
her.
did try to a little bit harder the last couple tribals to
Yes.
try to force something to happen or make a move, and she just couldn't.
But I
So
think that it was already in the sand where it was like, you can't read what she's saying as being like, that's not what she's going to do.
IKEA reward or not, nobody cares, Kristen. Sorry.
Sorry, everybody knows. Everybody knows. So that's it. We're down to 2 episodes. We've got what, 2 more weeks of the game left.
I
4
know,
episodes
guys.
left.
Okay, so last week was the last of our 3 episodes. This week I was like, oh, 2 episodes. Well, that's kind of sad. But it was really like after watching the second episode this season that I started going, or this week, that oh my God, we're almost there.
Yeah.
We're so close.
It really, when it gets into the home stretch, it goes quick.
It does.
Yeah.
Especially when
So quick.
we've been really lucky, like,
which is actually a good thing. Jamie's pointed out that like when it gets down to 4 people, it's hard to fill an hour.
yes.
You
Yeah.
know,
Absolutely.
the game gets a little dull, and they do things
It
like
does.
reminiscing about people's torches.
Yeah, nobody wants that.
Nobody
The
cares.
only torch anyone's ever
Jack,
cared about.
nobody ever wants that.
Listen,
No.
the only way you should actually be doing a fallen comrade situation on any of these reality shows is if that person literally died. Okay? They were voted out of a show. They're
I mean,
fine.
like,
we don't got to remember
Or
RIP.
maybe he gets his foot chewed off by a shark.
yeah, sure. We can do that.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Hey, do you remember when David got his foot bit off by the shark?
like,
That was
seriously,
crazy.
Can you believe that shit?
That would be all right, acceptable.
But the way they used to do those montages and stuff. Oh, I remember this person. It's like, we don't, and we don't care.
We care
who
not.
got voted out first.
We absolutely care not. They filled that montage with IKEA sleepaways and Applebee dinners. So at least somebody did something about it. We're not forced
giving
to
away
it.
the car.
Giant bowl of spaghetti and meatballs. That might have been the best.
I can't. I still can't look at the spaghetti. I can't. I just see it coming out of Miles's mouth and like.
Right. But the thing is like, it's that fine line with, is this gross or am I starving? You know what I mean?
Yes, that's true.
Get a meatball. I forgot she didn't get one.
Oh,
But
she was pissed. That woman wanted some meat, and
that
she didn't
is
get
actually a challenge that makes you go like, am I gonna eat it? I'm really hungry.
Like, how hungry am I? How much do I need this?
But
I'd eat the shit. I wouldn't give a fuck.
I would too. I think. Well, I think the primal instincts of survival would kick in, and you would.
Now I'm gonna get a text from Brian.
Oops, he's gonna be mad too. There's gonna be a whole rant. Brian, you go ahead and just send him that.
You go ahead, send the rant. Brian, here's the deal. I would love if you put that rant together. You can go ahead and put the background up behind you. And then I will put that on our Tally the Votes Instagram because
Facebook page. Fantastic.
This is really going to be a thing. No, it is.
We have a great Facebook page.
You should check
Tally
it
the
out.
Votes
You could
on
go to
Facebook.
Tally the Votes on the Facebook, check it out, share some memes. If I see updates, if these guys see updates, we post them in there. Post interviews and all of the fun stuff. Lots of silly Instagram stuff still getting put on there from the Traders cast. That crew was great for entertainment.
Wow, they've really done the rounds too, haven't they?
Yeah,
everywhere.
they really have. We also have an Instagram. You could check that out. If you have
Where's that,
feedback,
David?
yeah, put
Is
it up
it
there,
Tally the
David.
Votes on Instagram too?
I'm sure
That'd be
it is.
so weird. It would be
Oh,
so weird
why
if
did
it
we
was
not have that
also
banner?
You're
Fired.
yeah, you're out. Included in the rant, Brian. Thank you. Side note,
Chris, do you know what I have to say to that?
I bet it's
Good day, mates.
just a wild stab in the dark.
See, because it's so positive and uplifting.
It is. It's very cheery. It fixes.
Or it's really,
things.
Stealing other people's culture for our own
I mean,
amusement.
whatever.
Any way you want to play it.
Stop.
Stop.
Flattery is the or no, imitation is flattery. Yeah.
I mean, it could go either way. It's all the same if you can't read, right? So here's the deal: Instagram, Facebook, like and subscribe because we
trying to get TikTok going.
Yeah, well, TikTok might be owned by Amazon soon. Who knows where we're going to be?
I heard the Oracle guy's buying it now.
Oh, I see. There's a battle. There's a battle for the media. We're going to be here, and you can like and subscribe, and then we'll be here next week to do this whole song and dance.
And by the end of next week, we will have our final.
That'll be our penultimate episode. Which is always a fun word to use when you don't screw it up twice.
You're giving him so many meat and potatoes here, David, in the final 5. If you have any feedback, if you got anything you'd like to talk about, you have a winner's pick, you think Keelan is not playing as good of a game as we think, whatever. I mean, we might not agree with you, but it doesn't matter. We'll read the feedback. So you can send.
Go home yet.
I mean, look, we read Scott's feedback last week, but he didn't send any this week.
Nope, he was a busy guy.
Slacker.
So you can send us the feedback. Probably sleeping, probably catching up on some Z's.
Oh, that's fair.
But tally the feedback at yahoo.com. Send it our way. We would also like you to know that you could check us out wherever you find your favorite podcasts. If you would rather listen to us in that medium, you may. We are going to be
honestly.
Yeah. I mean,
listen to us in your headphones. I bet you they sound like so soothing. I'm
sure that you love the chipmunk laughs and the cuss words and high def Dolby surround sound.
I only cussed once.
Unending
really?
swears.
There was 2?
There was at least 2 that I caught. And I don't usually notice. So
we're going to have to get a swear jar. Is what's going to happen.
Tally the Vote swear jar.
Now, you can find us in the podcast. You can find us at Jay and Jack's Whole Enchilada Feed alongside Survivor with Jamie, Jack, and Colleen, the broadcast, the Ramblecast, the Amazing Race with Jack and Cindy. And we would like to give a shout out and special mention to those who are on the Patreon group and contribute at a certain level. And that is Eckhart Rickner, Magdalene Magnificent, Joanne with the Plan, and Ed the Creepy Poopy Head Mailman. If you too would like to be a patron, you can go to patreon.com/JNJack.
You know what? We even promised that we'll give you not mean nicknames. I promise. We'll come up with something.
I feel like we're going to end up having to do like a Patreon episode that is just a montage of David trying so much not to swear, but it's all his swears. Just a long list of it. Maybe we might do that. So
I average about 2.6 an episode, I think.
But when and where and why, you never know.
Well, I like to keep Brian guessing because that makes him listen to the entire podcast.
It's literally the test to make sure that our friend Brian is listening to the entire thing.
Catch you for it.
Every time I swear, he sends me a text.
Somebody is going to be held responsible, and it's not going to be me. I do not claim responsibility. I did not do this. So, guys, I don't know. Next week, that's it. That's what we got. We're going to be here.
Who's out next? We thought Morgan last week, and we were definitely wrong. Or at least I did.
They're advertising. They're telegraphing Keelan, which is why I think he won't go the very next episode.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It seems like it's a little too on the nose.
I think they'll get out Morgan or Kate.
Because keep it simple, stupid. Yeah. And if AJ's gonna try and flip, they're gonna need.
And I think Miles is gonna be able to use that as his reason to cut.
I think it's gonna be Zara.
Maybe.
Because I think AJ wants to keep Kate and Morgan.
So you're saying this. So AJ's gonna fight for Kate probably, and Miles is gonna fight for Zara. That's how it's gonna roll out. What if Miles plays his idol for Zara?
That's what I was wondering.
Miles will not play his idol for Zara
to save the person he wants to in order for.
I'm sorry. If you're sitting there, and you know you got one more week, and you know you're not threatened at that tribal, you don't play that idol for someone else.
Well, how many more tribals do they have for him to use it? You can use it to 5.
Well, they're at what, 7 now?
Right.
No, they're at 6.
6. So it might not be the first episode. But the next episode is his last chance to use it.
I don't know if you can use it at 4 in Australia. You might be able to.
But if he has it and he's seen an opportunity to take out AJ, he could use it to play to save the person that AJ thinks everyone's voting for, so that he can cast the vote for AJ.
He's got to have something that dupes AJ to go.
I could see him doing that because AJ would not suspect that he's going to play it for the person. Like he did earlier in the game.
You didn't suspect.
So.
But of course, AJ would know to anticipate that Miles would. So we're doing a whole Princess Bride thing now.
Is the poison in the goblet that is in front of you?
But of course, you would have known that I would not have put the poison in the cup closest to you.
Guys, you got to stop rhyming, and I mean it. All right. We got to go. It's time to go, guys. But listen, we'll be here next week. Please send us the feedback. And if you can't, just show up next week when we send out the alert, and we'll see you then, and we'll talk all the talks, and we'll walk all the walks, and we'll have a swear jar.
Yeah.